The transfer portal for Oklahoma doesn't seem to be over yet. You heard me right. There is a specific tight end that has hit the transfer portal that Oklahoma could potentially be after. And not to mention, you got another tight end in 2025. Are they trending to Ohio State? And then we got to take a look at that offensive line, because you guys have talked about many times Oklahoma needing to rebuild in the trenches as they're heading into the SEC. Well, I'm recording this on January 1st. This morning, the SEC patch was displayed on an Oklahoma uniform on the Oklahoma social media. If that doesn't hype you up and get you excited, I don't know what will. But before we dive into it, guys, before we talk about it, again, last month there were over 40,000 of you that had tuned in for the first time. So thank you. And if this is your first time, thank you for tuning into the PG Show, where we talk about all things college football. But you guys know I got to talk about Oklahoma a little bit more, because it's the team that I love. It's the team that you love. Not to mention, they're only like the best team in college football. But over the next couple of days, we're going to be talking about Michigan beating Alabama, and then hopefully Texas losing to Washington. Currently, that game's going on right now. So by the time you guys see this, I will have not had the outcome in this video. But Oklahoma got some news today, as Jake Roberts, the tight end out of Baylor, out of Waco, Texas, a junior, 6'5", 250 pounds, originally hailing from Norman, Oklahoma, has entered the transfer portal. Now, Jake Roberts originally ended up at North Texas, and then he hit the transfer portal on January 9th in 2023, where he ended up on December 20th, 2022, he hit the portal, committed to Baylor on January 9th of 2023. So he's been around a couple places. Originally was committed to Tulsa back in 2019, but decommitted later on after he got the offer. And Seth Luttrell was the guy, or one of the guys, that was recruiting him to North Texas. So obviously, what does that mean? Well, obviously, getting Jake Roberts as a part of this team, I feel like is a big deal, because I feel like it gives you the upper hand over Ohio State in recruiting his brother, Nate Roberts. And yes, I'm going to go ahead and talk about that right now, because so many people have asked about that. Nate Roberts is trending to Ohio State. Ohio State has done a very good job at trying to go out there and land one of the top tight ends in the recruiting rankings for 2025. And that's exactly what Nate Roberts is. Now, I told somebody this the other day, but I think it's a very low chance that Nate Roberts goes somewhere else other than Oklahoma when it comes time to sign with a team in this 2025 cycle, because Kevin Sperry's been pushing really hard. Obviously, Joe John Finley is still with Oklahoma, so he's got a recruiter still there. Seth Luttrell is going to push really hard. Nate Roberts is a guy that he's in state, one of the best talents in state. You don't want to lose him. So I get that there's a lot of hype right now around the Ohio State side. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see Ohio State land this commitment by like mid-January. That would not surprise me. But if you go out there and get Jake Roberts, who, by the way, you're not getting him just so you can recruit his brother at a high level. You're getting Jake Roberts because in 2022 at North Texas, he had 28 receptions for 394 yards with a 14.1 yard average and 3 touchdowns. And then this year at Baylor had 23 receptions for 231 yards, 10 yards average, and 1 touchdown. Jake Roberts is an experienced tight end that could bring experience to a youthful Oklahoma tight end room. Here's what I mean by that. Oklahoma currently has Josh Fanuel. You have Faye Hampton, Caden Helms, Jason Llewellyn hit the portal, so you don't have him anymore, but you do have Cade McKinstry. I believe you get Jake Smith for another year. You don't have Austin Stogner anymore, so you're going to have Devon Mitchell coming in. You're going to have Bauer Sharp coming in, but adding a guy like Jake Roberts with a little bit more experience allows you to dabble with 2 tight ends and have experienced guys out there when it matters the most. Although I think we all expect Devon Mitchell, to really take a lot of the snaps for Oklahoma. I think we expect him to see him be tight end number one, but Jake Roberts would definitely be an option to be out there with Devon Mitchell, or sometimes just give Devon Mitchell a little bit of relief and a break. So keep your eyes on Jake Roberts. I would expect that Oklahoma's probably going to get this one signed, sealed, and delivered pretty quickly. I imagine Jake Roberts goes into the portal with the idea of where he's going to go. And again, for his brother Nate Roberts, again, don't be surprised if he ends up at Ohio State by mid-January, but there's still a long time to go in the 2025 cycle. Kevin Sperry's pushing hard. He's been to Oklahoma 5 times, maybe even a little bit more. There's probably some that aren't on record. He's only been to Ohio State twice, and Ohio State's a little bit farther from home, which is one of the reasons why he decommitted from Notre Dame. So, yeah, it's something that you guys might want to keep your eye on. Now, Casey Thompson, it sounds like that one is still a win. We're just waiting on everything to be finalized. So we should have an announcement there from the Casey Thompson camp here hopefully soon. And hopefully that one's going to be in favor of Oklahoma. But turning our attention to the offensive line, because that is a question that a lot of you guys have had. Amarj Reed Adams, original three-star prospect out of DeSoto, Texas. I think he's like 6'5", 330 pounds. This is a guy that he's played over 605 snaps this past season at guard and tackle for Kansas. And Kansas had a really good offensive line the past couple of years. So here's my deal. I think this could be a take for Oklahoma. It could be a guy to look at. I haven't heard a whole lot about Oklahoma going after him yet, but it's just something that you guys might want to keep your eyes on. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. Additionally, you want to look at a guy like Victor, I believe his name is pronounced Stoffel. He's originally from Temple. He played at right tackle and finished with 875 snaps. PFF graded him as a top 100 tackle. He only allowed 2 sacks the entire season. Now, talking to somebody about that one might be a little bit more unlikely. But again, just a name that you might want to keep your eyes on. I had a couple of you guys in the last video ask about Micah Mazuka. Haven't heard a whole lot on that one. The Florida Gator offensive lineman. Again, would not be betting that one's going to happen. Now, looking at the defensive line, because, again, some of you guys jumped in the comments and you guys asked about David Hicks, and rightfully so, right? Dominic McKinley commits to LSU. That one had been trending away from Oklahoma. LSU had really done what they needed to go out there and repair the relationship, and Tennessee was making a last-minute push as well. But at this point, if you're an Oklahoma fan, I would not expect David Hicks or Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy at least to hit the portal this cycle. You might see them in the spring, but as I told you guys, if they didn't hit the portal by January 3rd, it's probably not going to happen. And from what I'm hearing, I don't think it's going to happen. So don't give your hopes up about David Hicks or Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy hitting the portal in Oklahoma, going after them. I do still think they take 1 or 2 defensive linemen in the portal. It's got to be the right guy, though. And you still have the spring portion. So they're going to get some of these guys in here, and they're going to get them through the spring. They'll find out what they have, and they're going to find out exactly what they need to go out there and take in this next portal cycle, or if anybody just enters over the next couple of days, maybe that we're not expecting. So, guys, I need you to do me one thing. Go ahead and hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and if you haven't already, you just need to join the discussion by jumping down in the comments below and let me know your guys' thoughts.